Well, greetings. Are we all here?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Greg Witt with Alpenwild, and joining us on the live stream today, we have our guide, Roman Lozak, and we have Jenna, who's in our office here. And as you have questions about the Tour of the Giants or any of our tours, you can certainly call and talk with Jenna. And thankfully, we have Andrea here in the studio, and she's helping out with the technology, with the live stream. And if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask those, put those in the chat box, and we will address those as we go. Just for by way of introduction, Roman is the guide for this tour, and Roman was raised in the French Alps, and he has childhood memories of harvesting mushrooms in the forest and hiking with his parents, and then he went to college, and he has a university studies in archaeology and anthropology. He has degrees in tourism and anthropology. So and he lives most of the year during the winter season, lives in Provence in France. So he's very familiar with this area, and he was there back in August, and I was there in June and September in this region. So it's an exciting area, one that our Alpenwild guests really aren't familiar with. So it's brand new territory for Alpenwild travelers. Um, First of all, Roma, what is there about this whole Aosta region that makes it so exciting and so interesting to you, and you think it'll work well for our Alpenwild travelers?
Well, hi everybody. First, I have to say that I'm really excited to do the Tour of the Giants. It's a very famous route in the Alps. Most of the people they know the Tour of Mont Blanc or the Chamonix till Zermatt, but for Europeans people, the Tour of the Giants is something big because, as it say, Tour of the Giants are the mountains, like the Monte Rosa, the Matterhorn, and the Grand Paradiso. So I'm very excited to see these big mountains. It's very beautiful and it's very wide also. We have an amazing wildlife, especially in Gran Paradiso. You see much more animals there than in the rest of the Alps, for example. And also, I have to say, hiking there is very interesting because you have almost nobody there. It's very quiet and enjoying to hike on the trails and not being following another group, for example.
And as you mentioned, even though you're in these elite international ski resorts, we're there in the summer, and it is quiet, very quiet. And on the trails, not a lot of certainly no crowds. We have a comment here, just a greetings from one of our guests, someone who's hiked with you before. And
Yes, Sarah.
so, by the way, I didn't mention that Roman has guided with us for years now, 5, 6 years,
Oh,
and
even seven now. Seven, yeah.
seven. Oh no! You know, during COVID, time kind of disappeared, and so 7 years. That's right.
Yeah.
And so many of the participants watching today will have been with you on the Tour de Mont Blanc or the Chamonix Zermatt Haute route. So Roman is a favorite guide for those tours. So let's go on to the map and let's just show you where we are. So most of our Alpenwild hikers are familiar with France and Switzerland, but wedged right in between them in this region just south of the Great Saint Bernard Pass is this province or region of Italy called Aosta, and it's the Val d'Aosta, and it's a mountainous region, and it's where there are many elite ski resorts, beautiful ski resorts. But the northern side of that Aosta is contains the highest peaks in the Alps, including, of course, the Mont Blanc, the Matterhorn, the Monte Rosa, Many of those peaks along that border um, are shared with Switzerland. So if you've seen the Matterhorn from the Swiss side, I think you'll enjoy seeing it from the Italian side. It's a whole different mountain, but beautiful nonetheless. And then to the detailed map, the tour starts and ends in Milan. And of course, there are many nonstop flights, daily nonstops from the US to Milan, Italy. And then we transfer to Gressoney and then hike on to Champoluc and Cervinia. Cervinia is the resort on the south side of the Matterhorn. In fact, in Italian, the Matterhorn is not called the Matterhorn, is it? It is called Cervino, and
Exactly.
the resort is Cervinia. And then we go to Konya, and you probably haven't heard of Konya. Most of our guests on the live stream today haven't heard of Konya, but guess what? Konya is just right at the entrance to Gran Paradiso National Park, and that's where we spend 3 days there hiking and exploring in Gran Paradiso National Park. So let's just talk about the resorts that we're going to be in. First of all, we start in Gressoney, and as Roman mentioned, during the summer these resorts are very quiet, so we kind of have these small little villages to ourselves. And Gressoney is situated below the Monte Rosa. So great hiking, wonderful hiking opportunities there. And then we go on to Champoluc, and from there spend one night there, then on to Cervinia, and spend 2 nights in Cervinia. Now, Cervinia is I mentioned that, on the south side of the Matterhorn. And what's funny, Roman, I noticed this, that when you're in Cervinia, you're really much closer to the Matterhorn than you are in Zermatt. It's just
Exactly.
it's just not the same iconic view.
Yes, so it's a really great opportunity to be in Cervinia because on one of the day there will be an option for those who want to hike a bit closer to the Matterhorn to see this big mountain from the real bottom of it. So, and I'm really excited to be there, to be honest.
That's right. It's a beautiful resort and great location. And then we go on to Konya. And Konya, as I mentioned, is at the mouth of Gran Paradiso National Park. Gran Paradiso National Park the name is not well known to most Americans, and yet it's Italy's oldest national park, and the park surrounds the peak of Gran Paradiso, which is the only 4,000-meter peak that lies entirely within Italy. And it has a special place in the hearts of most alpine hikers. And one reason is because at the end of the 19th century, the ibex, the animal that we call the ibex, a mountain goat, was almost extinct from Western Europe. But there were a few remaining ibex in the king of Italy, his private hunting reserve, and some of these ibex were then smuggled out of the hunting reserve and taken to breeding programs in Switzerland and other places, and now there are tens of thousands of ibex throughout the Alps, thanks to these ibex that were preserved in Gran Paradiso National Park. Well, about 1920, the king donated this national park to Italy to become Italy's first national park. And today there's a resident herd of about 4,000 ibex in Gran Paradiso National Park. So that's just a quick overview of the tour and summary of where we are on the tour. Roman, just giving a quick overview, what do you see as what for you are the highlights on this tour? What do you enjoy most?
Well, you just mentioned one is the wildlife. To be honest, when I first hiked in Gran Paradiso, I was very impressed by the proximity with the mountain goats, like the ibex, but also the chamois, which are a bit smaller. Usually the chamois are very shy. You don't see them, or when you see them, they just run away. But there they were just like very close to me, like 50 feet away. I was like, that was very impressive, for example. The views are just unbelievable. It's a very wide area and very well preserved also. And the high passes also. We go from one valley to the other, and we cross some amazing passes with deep blue lakes. And also another one is the history. As you mentioned, I'm very fond of history and archaeology, and this area has a long history. Each valley has its own culture, and they are very proud of their culture, for example.
And Roman, you mentioned the chamois are are just there's many of them there. But I was there in June and also in August, and just like you, I saw chamois on the trail. Normally in Switzerland, they they, they 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 run uphill very quickly and will avoid any contact with humans. But in Gran Paradiso National Park, they're kind of fearless, I guess. So let's talk about the difficulty of the trail and the challenges. Um, Roman, you are guiding regularly on the Tour de Mont Blanc and the Chamonix Mount Haute route, and I see some of our guests here on the call today have hiked with you on the TMB and the Haute route. How would you compare this tour to the TMB and the Haute route in terms of difficulty?
Well, as you mentioned, there is Julian. I say hi to Julian, who was hiking with me this summer on the Tour of Mont Blanc. And I think he might like the Tour of the Giants because we go on these trails on high passes, as I mentioned. It's very close to in terms of difficulty to the Tour of Mont Blanc or the Chamonix to Zermatt. We have a bit less days compared to the other tours on this one. But we still have to go every single day hiking. We have 1 day rest though in Cervinia. But I would say like the max is about 10 miles and maybe 4,000 feet gain elevation. That would be the maximum. And yeah, it could be quite technical. It could be also very easy. Like we have some hikes in Coin at the end of the valley. It's super easy hike to have some views on cascades and waterfalls. So yeah, I would say it goes from medium to quite difficult hikes. So it's good for good people with good experience, I would say.
And I've told people as you compare it to the Haute route, you're really hiking along you're seeing many of the same mountains. You're just seeing it from the southern side, and so it kind of parallels the Haute route on the south side of those peaks. So there's beautiful valleys, wonderful ascents, crossing over passes, and beautiful mountain scenery along the way. As we go to the next slide, you'll see just some of the scenery that you might see. Typical alpine meadows where you have cows and sheep grazing and beautiful mountain views along the way. And then we go to Gran Paradiso National Park, and there's just outside of Konya, just about a kilometer or two up from Konya, you have a wonderful waterfall. And what you're seeing here is just one part of the waterfall. I was amazed how huge that it's called Cascades or Cascata in Italian, but it has like 5 or 6 different levels, and you're hiking up and seeing all these levels of the waterfall. It's really spectacular, beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah,
How do you feel?
that's very impressive. Like Cascade des Lilas is the name of the cascade. and has different layers, different levels that we can enjoy it. And it's at the bottom of the valley, so it's very easy to enjoy it. So yeah, it's a must around Cognes also.
Yeah. So the waterfall, and then we're also inside the park, and as you go inside Gran Paradiso National Park, it's all surrounding the peak of Gran Paradiso, which is a beautiful 4,000-meter peak with glaciers. There are alpine huts where we can stop for lunch. Wonderful hiking opportunities inside the park. Let's talk about the accommodations, can we? And this is our hotel in Champoluc. We have likewise a beautiful four-star spa hotel in Gressenay. And then from Champoluc, we go into Cervinia, and we stay at the Bucaneve, which is has this the interior decor is very, it's like a lodge, like a wonderful ski lodge or hunting lodge, and very homey feel. But it's at the same time it's a four-star spa hotel. Um, on this particular tour, and I don't want to compare, pit one tour against another, but this tour has some phenomenal hotels. And I think it's the only tour we offer where every hotel that we stay at and every night is a four-star spa hotel with a beautiful spa and a pool. And in fact, the our as we say on our concluding stay in Konya, we're at a hotel, and we've reserved all of their romantic rooms. And these are beautiful rooms with views across the meadow up into the national park. So we have these romantic rooms at the Hotel Miramonte, and also my wife and I stayed there in September, and we both felt that this was the most beautiful spa. They have Finnish saunas and Turkish saunas and steam rooms, and then this beautiful spa pool. It's a spectacular spa area in this hotel. Wonderful restaurant too, and as you might
Yes,
expect, in Italy you have great food all the way along. Any
exactly,
highlights
exactly.
for
Like
you, Rona?
I have to say, when I did the recon and I went to the Miramonte Hotel, I think that was unbelievable. Like I was very surprised the authenticity, the history of the place, but the quality of the hotel, the spa is just mind blowing, and the food is, oh my god, it's, yeah. I mean, I'm French, and we have like a strong food culture, but they do in Italy also, and the food is just amazing.
And we have a question here about the difficulty of the trail. Someone asked, is there a altitude sickness? Is that a problem where we are? What's the highest altitude?
It's 2,900 meters, so it should be okay. Like it's not higher than the Chamonix to Zermatt, for example.
Some
And
of the path. Go ahead.
usually people they don't have any issues with the altitude. You can feel a bit tired a little bit, but nothing like what you have in the US is much higher. But usually we take time to go up in elevation to acclimatize, so it should be okay.
Yeah, I think the highest elevation on this tour is going to be around, in terms of feet, 7,500, 8,000 feet. And I
3,000, it's about almost 10,000 feet. So it's 2,900 meters is about 10,000 feet approximately.
Okay. Well, you may notice that we don't yet have the stats, the elevation gain and the distance on the website yet. We just got the tour on the website in the last few weeks, and we'll get those stats on the website for you too. And then also we got the question: is there a chance we'll be able to see these ibex? And I'll tell you what, one thing we are hesitant to ever guarantee is wildlife viewing because the wildlife are they're on their own schedule. We don't pay the wildlife to come out and make their appearance, right?
Yeah, I
So
have to say we have a good chance to see the ibex in Gran Paradiso because that's a national reserve, and they've been all over the place. So I
yeah,
think that the best place to see them is in Gran Paradiso for sure.
yeah, I agree. In fact, I was there in July and saw both chamois and ibex in Gran Paradiso, and they're most easily viewed at feeding time, and so early morning, late afternoon, they come out and are there for feeding, but you can see them throughout the day. So wildlife sightings are common and expected in Gran Paradiso National Park, but hate to promise those. So let's see. Let's talk about as we conclude the tour. This you may recognize. This is Cinque Terre in Italy, and one of the great benefits of concluding the tour in Milan, as I mentioned, there are lots of nonstop flights from Milan back to the U.S., but also there's some wonderful travel opportunities, and most of our guests do some sort of pre or post tour travel. And so by going to Milan and concluding there, you'll be close and easy train access to Florence, to Tuscany, and to the Cinque Terre, which is a wonderful destination for hiking, walking, exploring, shopping, and relaxing too. Beautiful seaside location, and I think our guests would certainly enjoy that. Question about the weather, and is the weather similar to the rest of the region?
Really
Meaning,
unpredictable.
is it unpredictable?
Yeah, I mean, well, yes, the weather is we are in the mountains, so we have this microclimate that can change. But also we are in Italy, so we have some barrier. Like for those who've done the Tour of Mont Blanc, when we go from Switzerland to Italy, it changes like from one pass to the other. So it depends where you go. It depends on the yeah. It's kind of unpredictable. It could be very good. We could have some rain, but it's changing. So it's usually not always raining or always the same weather.
And also comparing it to the oat route, um, we can say that the area we're traveling in is on the southern side of the highest peaks of the Alps. So um, to some extent, there's more sunshine and slightly warmer temperatures, but anytime you're traveling in the Alps, it's unpredictable,
that's, that's
and
part of the adventure.
hiking in the mountains is full of surprises, but we
Yeah.
have good weather forecasts, and I would say come prepared. So, by the way, this live stream is being recorded for future viewing, and you'll find it on our Alpenwild channel. And
Yeah.
we'll get the link out. In fact, just later today, yeah, it'll be on the channel. So,
I have to say
yeah,
something. I have to
sure.
say hello to Leighton. Leighton is a very good person I've been hiking with twice already, and I'm very glad I can see him on stream. So I'm looking forward to see all these people I've been hiking with again on this tour. It would be very lovely.
Well, we have a special guest or a special gift for those who are joining us on the live stream today, and that is we have an exclusive offer for our viewers, which is a $150 discount per person off this tour. And this tour is already our July 5th departure is already half full without before even the live stream occurred. And we may be adding a departure later, but for now, this is the only July 5th is the only departure we have. So we'd encourage you to sign up for that, take advantage of the discount. And if you're booking online, you'll need a special code. And here's the secret code. It is giants. That's the word you type in for the discount. Um, let's see. Any other questions we didn't answer, or Roman, any concluding comments you'd like to make?
Well, yeah, well, I'm very looking forward to guide this tour, and yeah, I think it's a great idea. Like we are launching a couple of new tours for the next year, and I think they're great, all of them. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to do it.
Roman, there's one thing I didn't mention at the very start of the live stream here, and that is we over the last 18 months, we've launched 6 new tours, which is unprecedented. And they're wonderful tours, very successful. And and 5 of those 6 tours were proposed by guides. Guides came to us and said, "Hey, in fact, Roman came to me about 8 months ago, 10 months ago, and proposed doing a tour in Provence, and we're excited about that." But this particular tour is the only one of the 5 that was requested and proposed by one of our guests. We have a favorite guest who's been with us on many tours, and so she wrote me back in February of this year, and said, "Hey, I'd like to do this tour that was offered by a competitor, and after COVID, it was no longer offered." And so, thank you, Sharon. You know who you are. I don't want to embarrass you, but this is a great tour that was actually proposed by an Alpenwild guest. So we love our guests and enjoy hiking, traveling with them, and want to thank you all for being on the live stream call today. And look for it posted. If you want to share it with friends, you'll see it posted on our website and on the on YouTube. I'm sure this afternoon. With that, we'll conclude and look forward to seeing you all in the Alps. Take care. Goodbye,
Thank
all.
you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.